Delta 547, wind 19016, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 547.
Taxi via
Air traffic controllers protect our nation's airways. These are the stories of real air traffic controllers to boldly deliver a safe, orderly, and expeditious flow of air traffic from their departure point to their final destination.
Wind 19016, runway 22 right, clear for takeoff.
Runway 22 right, clear for takeoff, Delta 547.
But working one of the air carriers, and it was fairly not busy. And all of a sudden, this guy clicks the mic. He says, "Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for flying American Airlines such and such and such. We're going to be flying at the altitude of 35,000 feet, and it's going to take 2 hours." He goes on and on and on and on, He has like the whole spiel. And he finally gets done with it and says, "Yeah, that sounded pretty good. Why don't you tell your passengers now?" Right? Yeah. And then somebody else mentioned the supersonic. Like we used to work all those F4s out of Bergstrom, and they had a couple of routes. They had one that was an IR route that went, I don't know, from West Alano out to Junction and came back. It was all like below 4,000 feet or something like that. And they would pop out of that, request a clearance. They're called PEG flights. They called that because they were when they got done, they're gonna peg it.
Uh-huh.
So anyway, so they came. These were approved routes, and they'd come out. They request recovery and they would go from somewhere south of Junction to a fix called Briggs out northwest of Austin, where there was a high altitude precision approach in at Bergstrom. So they'd come out, request that route. You'd clear them. They'd go up like 18,000 feet, and they would peg it. I mean, they would. You'd watch it, man. They would go. I mean, our scope only went to 990 mile an hour, and they were beyond that. Well, everybody was, probably varying degrees of happiness with that. One guy that was not amused one day with that was the mayor of the city of Fredericksburg. I mean, he had a sonic boom that happened like in his yard or in his house or something like that. He wasn't.
Was that working?
It might have been. I mean, but those supersonic flights they did that reasonably frequently until that one day that when it affected that mayor and he didn't like it and he got a hold of some congressmen and all that and they put a stop to it, and so those were no more. But it was kind of fun while it lasted, because we used to like to kind of watch the speed and we'd bet like $1 or whatever on how fast the guy was going to end up going. But they'd get the hauling. I mean,
I just thought of something about 2 hours ago, and I remembered it just a second ago. I just remembered it. When I was a controller here at Ellington Field, I was on my way to work at the GCA unit, was out in the middle, and we used to go down to the south end, and they had a light there, green light, red light, and the tower cab could see you, and they knew you were going around there. They would give you a green light so you could cross into the overrun of the runway. And I was on my way to work, and I was across the overrun of the runway. And it was about, 400 overcast ceiling. And all of a sudden, I had a red light, and out of the base of the clouds, an F-102 came out and was well left of course. I mean, way over, and did one of these numbers. And also, one of the neatest things working at GCA, precision approach, radar approach, was an AV-8. Because I was working, the first time I ever worked one of that, it was like, golly, is this a helicopter or what? Because they really slowed it down, which was really, AV-8's Harrier, yeah, vertical takeoff and landing capability. But didn't they have VFR helicopter routes in Houston, approach aerospace? Like I think, for example, I rode one time in a helicopter, Department of Public Safety there off of West Road and 290. Mm-hmm. And I think the north side of 290, you went one direction. On the south side, you went the other. I think on the right side, the south side, you'd go eastbound. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So helicopters were VFR, where they were separated by highway routes, and they were visually see them and fly on what side. That's kind of interesting.